must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Fellow Africans, since 1957, when Ghana gained independence, there has been quite a lot of political, social, economic indicators on the African continent that show that Africa has progressed from pre-independence Africa to post-independence Africa.
Ghana, your beloved country, is free forever. From now on, there is a new African in the world. That new African is ready to fight his own battle and show that after all, the black man is capable of managing his own affairs.
66 years down the road, Africa finds itself with the first country, Ghana, having gained independence. We find ourselves still locked up, controlled, manipulated, instructed, logistically supplied, equipped by foreign powers that dictate our agenda. Africa is endowed with plenty of minerals, resources, good weather. The climate is so favorable for the growth of food enough to sustain us. But we find ourselves in countries where hunger is killing people. Hunger is killing people because most of the people have taken to arms to fight wars, conflicts. Starvation has taken the place of development. In most African countries like Sudan, South Sudan, Central African Republic, Cameroon, Nigeria, in Biafra, and north of Nigeria there is Boko Haram, Somalia in the Horn of East Africa. We have taken to conflicts instead of development. Development was the key indicator. When Kwame Nkrumah made the first speech that seek ye African political unity, economic development will come automatically, he was right. The events happening in Libya today vindicates Nkrumah, vindicates Nyerere, Sekou Toure, and NASA, the founding fathers of our Pan-Africanism. The events happening in Central African Republic, in Congo today, as the war of rebels ranges on between the rebel and the rebels and the government and the government, and the rebels vindicates the founding fathers of this revolution. Our independence, therefore, was only on paper. Our independence, therefore, was only in symbols. Our independence also was in signs. Our independence also was in boundaries. That we received our flags, but we never received full independence as by the word independence. Most of the 3/4 of African countries, French-speaking countries, have their budgets being done in Paris. Is that independence? The Paris government or the French government does its budgets based on how much they will get from African countries. Is that independence? Is this the Africa that you want? Is it the Africa that we must look at? Is it the Africa that we shall leave for the future generation? If the answer to you is yes, then so be it. But if the answer is no, you agree with me that this is not Africa we want to live for the future generation. Our generations and the future generation need to find a legacy. What is the legacy that Africa and African Union will leave for the future generation? The wars ranging in Libya, in South Sudan, in Khartoum, in Mogadishu, in DRC Congo, in Amazonia, in Cameroon, Boko Haram, Mali, in Mauritania, the uprisings in Algeria, all point to one thing, that yes, we are not yet independent. We are still controlled by external forces. Thank you. Good morning, viewers. Welcome to our Good Morning Show, rebranded as My Opinion. Still remains good morning in most parts of Africa, some in evening, some very early in the morning, some during lunchtime in Australia down under, or evening tea being taken in Australia down under. Good morning. Viewers, this morning we don't have much except to discuss a few things that affect Africa. Our topical issue this morning will be centered on Kenya, the row between the MPs, the government, the wage bill, the expenditure. Our topic will be based on that. The obstacles, the challenges that Kenya goes through when handling governance in this Republic of Kenya. I will go much in the interest of the people of Kenya to try to meet a leveled ground, a ground that can help this country stick together to avoid the ship being punctured and the ship sinking. President Uhuru Kenyatta last night went ahead and did what is supposed to be done, laying a foundation for his legacy and the legacy that will remain for the people of Kenya. President Uhuru Kenyatta wants a united, prosperous Kenya. A Kenya that can be an envy of the region, of the continent, and of the world. A Kenya where all citizens live, enjoy, share the little that is available, given by God, because it's God who created whatever we have, and it's God who can limit and take away what he wants us to have or not to have, and leave us what we have to have. It is God again who has brought all this. Remember, the month of July always in Africa portends very serious occurrences. We have seen very important people dying, being buried. We have seen people going away in this month. It is also a month that most of revolutions in the world and in Africa, if you do your research, other than just hopping around the computers and social media platforms without grasping some ideas, you will see that most of the revolutions around the world are centered around July. Most of them prominent Those who come up and make a mark always come up in July. Their burials, their ceremonies, the wedding ceremonies. Why July? Especially if you go to Britain, for example. Most of the weddings are taking place in July because it is the hottest month. Most of the activities are conducted. So we picked some of the culture which has evolved for over 1,300 years in the United Kingdom. And when they came here, most of our things were done quietly after sitting down at the coast and feeling the sunshine of this country. Our early missionaries tended to go inside, started the journey, preparing around June, around May, April's preparation. They want to see the Rift Valley, the mountains, the Pearl of Africa. Remember, the railway went up to Uganda simply because people wanted to know what is inside there. And the month of July was very good for traveling. A month of June, May, June, July, August. They want to see the bumper harvests. The seasons change as you go up from the 0 degrees, 0 sea level to the height of 14,000 feet above sea level up in Mount Elgon to a height of another 17,000, another in Rwenzori Mountains, to look for copper in Kasese. This is why the railway all the way from Mombasa ended up in Kasese to go and collect that copper and take it away. This was a nature. The month that people traveled, the month that the trials inside, inland, in the hinterland of Africa, most activities take place, quiet activities, modest activities, reorganization of what you were in before that. The rains come. This year, not much has come. And you can see quite a lot of what is happening. So the month of July is very important. But above all, President Uhuru Kenyatta yesterday reiterated while in Mombasa that he's not going to listen to any people or any person, all people who are shouting, who are making noise, who are making disparaging remarks, who are even daring to arrest the President of the Republic of Kenya. Some MP from Bahati in Nakuru pretends to have gone to school, but yet he has no school papers, and he goes on to arrest, to say he wants to arrest the President of the Republic of Kenya. We all know that it's impossible to arrest the President of the Republic of Kenya unless he's committed crimes that are beyond the level of criminality, which everybody can have either quarrel or whatever it is. But I want to make it very categorical that all these events of shuffling up and down are events that create the agony of transit, the agony of succession, the agony of early campaigns, the agony of injury, the pain that the President of the Republic of Kenya goes through while maintaining the stability, the peace, the wisdom, the culture of getting Kenya working, Kenya moving together. You cannot dream of taking power in Kenya when you might not have Kenya. You are dismembering Kenya. Today, the president is saying, don't dismember this country. Don't kill it. Don't break it. Leave it to work. He wants unity. He wants to live a semblance of unity of purpose. But there are some people who are obsessed with power. They might not have it. It might not be difficult. God is watching. You cannot be a person dreaming of power. Night, you sleep, you are in the bed and wake up with a nightmare. Power, I want power. This is what is happening in Kenya. It's sad that we have reached such a state that there is no other game, that any other job, no any other contribution that we want to make for our nations. Everybody is dreaming. Chamisa is dreaming for power. Besigye is dreaming for power. But if you give Besigye power, he will behave worse than Museveni. This is exactly the problem of Africa. The problem of Africa is that people here, some of us are not interested in that power. But we have to tell them, all these people who are mushrooming for power, some of them, if you see what they write on these platforms, they say, when we get power, we shall deport you. When you get power, we shall do this. Then what is it that what we fought Moi for? We did fight Moi. Most of us took part in the struggle in Kenya and other organizations. Drive out Moi because of the dictatorial tendencies that these younger men are displaying on their Facebook platform, that, oh, when we get power, we shall deport you. Then you are bringing Moism. You can't get it because the world has moved. Don't use your paranoia to threaten people, to tell people to take hostage people. Politics of compensationalism. New word for you Kenyans. Get it today. The politics of compensationalism. Because you are poor, you grew up in a poor place, therefore you want to compensate on people's sweat. Shame on you. That politics of compensationalism, politics of hostage taking, politics of violence, politics of hatred, that is not what builds a country. It doesn't need anybody. Jesus came from a humble beginning. Most of you pretend to be Christians, pretend to be in too much of church goers, pretending to tell us you pray every day. Jesus came from a humble beginning, but never did he override the principles of the Father. Hallelujah. I've come into a Christian today, bishop. Maybe if I talk, some people will listen. Politics of compensationalism. Stop it. Because I was poor, therefore I must be rich. This is what is happening here today in Kenya. This is what is breaking Jubilee Party. Most of us who have worked with nothing, selling our trousers and the shoes, selling our good watches, necklaces, in order to get tickets to get you out of trouble. You are causing trouble again. Kenyans need to know this. Uhuru Kenyatta is saying enough is enough. Let's work. You are saying no. You want it. You are causing trouble. Don't think trouble cannot be caused for you. There are people who can do it. Not even Uhuru. Please. The international agencies are watching. We're in big trouble here. And the gentlemen, some people, when you talk in this country, they tell you, oh, you are not Kenya. What? Kenya is not you. Kenya is a boundary. But Kenya affects Uganda. I have refugees in 23 refugees in my clan. They have not been sent away since 2008. They are there with shops, with M-Pesa shops. So stop your mess. Go and tell your God that you pray about every day in church. Yet you do different things. Time has come for you to be told the truth. Hallelujah. All of us are Christians. Some of us were more in that church. We started going to church earlier. And we're not going to keep quiet, hallelujah, from telling the truth to Kenyans. You find younger men writing things against the president. Their own president they elected. That what type of these guys are you training? You can't you reprimand them? You can't reprimand your brigade from doing things against your own president. What type of life is this? What type of life is it? Watch me. Watch me. Time has come when people have to speak the truth. Hallelujah. This is very bad. All this about moving down. 100 million was paid for people to sell Kenya shipping something with the Mediterranean. Rubbish. These allegations come because of power. People want power. Power every day, sleeps with the wife. Power. Goes for the girlfriend. Power. All the time looking for power. Instead of helping the President of the Republic of Kenya to have a legacy. That legacy alone will deliver you the vote. Power, power, power. Every day power. I want it. This is what caused Kenya people to die in 2007. We cannot keep quiet. Some of us came out to speak. When some Kenyans were silent, today they are the ones eating. Some of us are still where we are. You talk about the power. You talk about the power. What power? You want to lead people who are dead? Kenyatta is saying, hello, unite, follow him. He's your leader. Whether he's doing whatever he's doing, as long as he has not done anything that embarrasses Kenya. Follow him. Politics of compensationalism. Stop it. Politics of hostage. Stop it. Threatening people. Creating forged letters. Forging letters everywhere. Because you thrive on threats. Power, power, power. We need power. Africa is gone. Aronzi. In Nigeria, General Aronzi started testing what Baba Tafawa Balewa was testing. He saw the trappings of power when General Aronzi, the man who overthrew Baba Tafawa Balewa, killed him summarily in a coup. This is the type, if you have studied political science, comparative politics of Nigeria by then, the days of Baba Tafawa Balewa are the days of the current Jubilee organization, which is eating itself. As editors, we can't keep quiet. You might beat us in money, but you are not going to beat us in tools of analysis. You can have your money, you can have your country, but you cannot spoil a country. And then you call us power, power. You categorize people. This is Kibicho, this is Nasi, this is mine, this is this. Rubbish. Africa goes down. Africa goes down because of this stupidity of power, of dreaming. The legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta is clear. The Big Four agenda is very clear. Pick one of them, help him to deliver the agenda. Less than that, sink yourself. Politics of compensationalism. If you have gone to school and you studied well and your exam was not written for you, listen to me, watch the lips today. From today, we shall answer you inch by inch, soil by soil, eye by eye. We are not going to keep quiet because enough is enough. The legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta must be respected. He needs a legacy. 36 months left. He needs to wipe up corruption. Hallelujah. Don't tell me what. You think I sleep on a tree? I have a house. I bought it much earlier when you had no power. Today, listen to me. Some of us have been so lenient, so controlled. But no, the river is flowing. This is too much. Yesterday, the president opened Bandari Academy to help the people of the coast to have jobs, to help younger women and men to go and learn how to swim, how to go on sea ferries, how to swim, how to serve people on the ships, how to control, how to fish, how to manage the waters. Is that not enough? Then you go around spreading malice. Another lumpen called DCJ Mwiru. We know the meetings you carry conduct every night. But soon, the dossier is going to come. And in fact, you might be a rapist. Because people are going to go for you. It's too much. Let the truth come out. You have tainted the court. You have destroyed the court. You have destroyed the Supreme Court. You are not anything worth to be in that court. You should quit the court. You worked and washed money. You begged money from terrorists. Get out of the court. If you haven't seen anything yet, it is coming. It's coming. Don't think that the silence of President Uhuru Kenyatta does not have friends worldwide. Doesn't matter here or in Britain or in Zimbabwe or I will even speak worse when I'm out of, you don't know. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. You want to molest Uhuru Kenyatta to remain, and my God, what is this? We struggled for all of you. Some of us sacrificed our own money for our own children to make sure that this case of ICC does not exist, because it was a fake case done by Americans and George Soros and the French to destroy this country. Sitting here and talking every morning on TV without telling you off, you will think you are an angel. You are not. You are not. Some of us soldiers, battle-hardened, are very upset. Very upset. We live by God. We know your threats. But please, help President Uhuru Kenyatta to deliver the miracle of a better Kenya. Help Uhuru Kenyatta to deliver a miracle of a better Africa. Help Uhuru Kenyatta to deliver a non-corrupt Kenya. If you have ears today, this is the last time on 9th of July, I'm addressing you. The rest you are going on a slippery road. Listen carefully. I've sat with you people. I've told you. When I was sitting with people coming here, so many Kenyans laughed at me on TV. They said this Ugandan, he's lying on ICC. It's not Karim who made ICC to go down. It's me. That boy, Itumbi. I was the first person who took Itumbi on a flight out of Africa. He never went there alone. Wake up, you people. What you are doing is not very good. Wake up. Change your minds. It's me who took Itumbi on the first flight to The Hague. The trouble that I went through, I cannot discuss them on this TV. He didn't know where to go, how to walk, how to get out of a plane. So don't pretend that there was nothing. Some of us have done great things that we cannot. We have not got even a medal from this Republic of Kenya. Not a medal, which is penniless. But we have worked so hard. So when you see Pan-Africans crying for an African continent going down, the AU is captured, Libya is burning, Amazonia is burning, Biafra is burning, Central Africa is burning, Khartoum is burning, Ethiopia is about to burn, Eritrea is burning, Zimbabwe is on the edge of collapse. What do you want us to do? Keep quiet. Nkrumah is not here. Nyerere is not here. NASA is not here. Sekutura is not here. Jomo Kenyatta is not here. Obote is not here. Kaunda is old. Who can speak? I will speak. I will speak, hallelujah. Go and do what you want. At my age, don't threaten me. You can take me anywhere. Get me out. I'll go. I'll not sleep on a tree. These younger children you threaten every day. It's too much, man. We have had enough. You are tearing this country to pieces. Follow your president. Uhuru Kenyatta says, please help me to build a country. And you are saying, no, we want to do politics. What politics for? Go and do it in your house. Nobody stops you from doing politics in the house. But let it be the following, the integrity of the president. You can't insult the president. You can't even tell the president when you don't even know how to tie your shoes. Some of them. Some people grew up in a place where there are toilets to flush. When they know what a latrine is, not a bush. So therefore, don't think that you play politics of compensation. Because you lost in childhood, you want to compensate. For compensation of politics, shame. Today, listen to me. Hallelujah. I feel for this country. I talk with strength because Ocampo 6, if I did not stand up, there would be some of them will not be here. The Kenyans had joined the hands to finish them, to take them home. I have never demanded anything to give me. What have you given me? What? What have you given me? But I'm here. Not even a medal. When it came to medals, medals were given to the same, even ally got a medal for insulting them. I've never got a medal. But I'm still here. You think I did not contribute? History will blame you. Today, mark that. The words that I'm speaking, I've seen revolutions come. I've been in a situation in my own country where I've seen 9 presidents go out since 1978. When we came from Tanzania, we overthrew Mr. Professor Lule, went down 68 days. We again overthrew Binaisa, went down. We brought in President Obote Bushenyi, President Museveni and Paulo Mwanga. The late took power under Tito Okero, Basilio Okero. Again, between there and that transition, there was a president. He went down. The late, we have seen, we sustained it. We had an election, 1980. We cheated that election. It caused us trouble. President Milton Obote won an election, the late. But Museveni went to the bush 1980, 82. From 81 to 82, he waged a war. 1985, we were thrown out. Some of us were active officers in this type of revolutions. From 27th July 1985, Saturday, 10 o'clock, some of us have been without states. So I'm talking with reference. When you people were still at school, we are already operating, overthrowing governments. Look at me. Today I'm here. Don't you think the experience I'm giving you is enough? I knew about ICC in 2005. I was the first person in that court. When the judges saw me, they said, we have arrested you and Chisano and Riek Machar. He's alive. Anybody who wants to ask him what role I played, ask him. Riek Machar, Chisano, we went to the ICC 2006. We were arrested by International Criminal Court. That if we don't produce Konyi and the commanders, we shall not leave the building. You think you are the first people who are in the ICC? God will go on telling people. We have seen all. I came here, I saw this was going to damage this country. And I decided to stand by the country. I have conquered. I have seen the ICC went down. It will go down. As long as I'm here, as long as I'm on planet Earth, still breathing, I will fight it until I expose it. I've now exposed it to the Americans. They have bought my idea. Believe me or not, you can sentence those who are there, but never again will you sentence another African. It is very important, therefore. The temperature of politics is tamed not to dismember this state. States in Africa are volatile. States in Uganda. We have an enemy. We have enemies who have teamed up with George Soros, who want to destabilize our country. We have enemies that have teamed up with so many people. Early in 2016, I told you that 13 countries, go back and look at my clip, 13 countries in sub-Saharan Africa will have a regime change. Count and give me the number that is left. Malawi is on the brink of collapse. Next is Zimbabwe. They have now finalized sending money through South African Litigation Council in Johannesburg. Over $1.2 million transferred for regime change, and more is coming for activities against the Republic of Zimbabwe. I've monitored and I keep monitoring, giving the intelligence systems. That money is penetrating into Zimbabwe to rearrange just as money penetrated into Khartoum from Jamena. Muhammad Faki watched Khartoum fall. You as a leader of AU, don't look back and see who might actually collapse you. It is the same AU. Because AU is captured by the French. You are done. If we don't speak about it today, when will I speak about it? When I'm in the grave? You watch a war in Amazonia. You watch a war in Biafra. You watch a war in Central African Republic. The people die on a daily basis. The other day I was watching Al Jazeera. The younger girl who was left by the mother alone in the middle of bullets because the mother had to hike a ride on a lorry, but the lorry had no space for the younger girl because she's a Muslim from the Seleka group. That is not the Africa that we want. Therefore, anybody who has traits of that nature in Kenya, we better tell it out so that Kenyans are aware that don't bring these traits of power, dreaming power every night, even at breakfast, every meeting, everywhere, even when drinking tea or wine, power. A regime change, you can say what you want. I tried to liberate Uganda and the Ugandans insulted me. Therefore, for me, I washed my hands off. I became a global citizen to educate citizens worldwide. It does not mean that it's only your place that one can stay. People can stay everywhere. But it's because everybody wants to stay where he is. If we are to ask where we are to be born, the world will be put in a scenario where things will be born, where people will stay. I want to take this opportunity to thank all of you for keeping the legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta. I want to thank President Uhuru Kenyatta for making more progress in development, in putting up institutions that will bring peace in this country. Your Excellency, that is the route that you should go. Yesterday's academy is the best academy for the people of Africa. It's the best academy for East Africans who can learn and go back on Lake Victoria. There is a lot of commercial enterprise on Lake Victoria, which we have not utilized. How many countries would like to buy, instead of people being killed on roads, you can buy so many cruise ships that can ferry people from Mwanza to Kisumu to Jinja to Portobello to the other part of Kigali and Rwanda towards there. We can ease transport. This school will help very many people, younger generation. I want to thank you, Mr. President, for the courtesy that you have taken in building up the situation. For those suffering in Amazonia, and for those suffering in Biafra, for those suffering in South Sudan, for those suffering in Central African Republic, for those suffering in Libya, I want to say we shall not keep quiet. We shall continue to talk about these sufferings, to expose them on such platforms until there is freedom for you. Thank you very much. God bless you. Let's take 1 minute and come back to talk about our today's topical issue. The topical discussion is on Kenya again. Does Kenya face structural obstacles or challenges that increase wage bill and high expenditure? That is the topic of our discussion today. I will be modest, and thereafter I will make a short clip of about 6 minutes that will be driven around the whole world. And I want to thank the millions and the millions and the millions of silent Africans who have actually listened to me. This afternoon in the People's Court, I will deliver a judgment on African Union. My 4 documents, full documents, will be available for people of Africa to remember me, that I said, and I continue to say, African Union is captured by Western capitalists who are actually controlling it, directing it. So don't go away. Keep watching for the next topic. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, viewers. We return right now with a topic which is at hand. It is still about Kenya. I've read all the newspapers of Kenya today, and my opinion from the Standard, Daily Nation, the Star, and the People's Daily. The common denominator in all these newspapers is increase in wages, salaries, allowances, and the blame is heaped on MPs. I want to stand in the middle ground. I want to say the truth. I want to dissect the matters to find out. I'm not an economist. I'm going to discuss political economy of this country, the political economy of Kenya, the structural challenges, the obstacles that Kenya gets, the obstacles that are embedded in the structures of Kenya can lead to a conflict. For example, many things are taking shape. They are working. Many of these institutions are a duplicity to one another. For example, you get a principal private secretary, and then you get another principal private secretary. This is duplicity. They do the same job. They run the same ministry. They run the same institution. Only that one is for fisheries and the other one is for agriculture, crops or fertilizers or purchases. This type of trends, my fellow Kenyans, is what we call structural challenges. Structures in Kenya take money. Not that there is no money. Kenya has money. But Kenya has a lot of bureaucracies, structures that keep on taking this money on a daily basis, that take money. For example, the 2010 constitution, which Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta made, was a fantastic constitution. But the constitution created hazards, very serious hazards, that any scholar like me on constitutionalism, after looking at this constitution, you would rather have a constitution that restricts the funding, the much spending, than have a constitution that gives liberty to people, to the elite group, to eat and eat and eat and eat. That is what is happening here. Yet we are eating the small cake which was left by Kibaki. We have not produced anything beyond the GDP that Kibaki left. We ate Kibaki's GDP, removed it, we started building ours. The stability is on our side. We have gone to borrow and borrow, yet there is a problem: corruption. We have anchored ourselves in tribal enclaves. Wherever we want to fight corruption, we have termed ourselves as our thieves are being fought. We have put ourselves at the crossroads of whether we fight corruption, we allow it to thrive amongst us, we glorify it as the only item that we can use any day, any time in our livelihood. We have brought tribal enclaves in the fight against corruption. We have created academies for entrepreneurs who fill papers and documents, who know what tender is being delivered, who know which one, where money can be done. And we have killed our economy. The economy of Kenya, it is not only in Kenya. The same is happening in our country, Uganda. But in Uganda, there is one aspect that has made corruption very difficult to perform. That once you are arrested on corruption charges, you will never smell something called bail. You will have to stay in court, in prison, in Luzira prison for at least 6 months as investigations take place before your bail is granted. That is the value, the difference, the only slight difference between Kenya and Uganda. Not that there is no corruption in Uganda. Actually, the corruption in Uganda is centralized. Kenya is spread. Our corruption is centralized. That if I don't know so and so, who is knowing so and so, who knows and so, who is married to so and so, you cannot get a loan of 500 million in Kenya, in Uganda. The corruption in Uganda is spread, is centralized. It's a centralized system of corruption. You need to know some powerful person in order to be given money, in order to be allocated a place to build a house, a factory, a hotel, anything that, a complex, a mall. That is what happens in Uganda. But the problem, the tragedy of Kenya's corruption is spread. But then the tragedy of it is when the DCI, Mr. Kinoti, and DPP, Mr. Nordin Haj, and the ESCC, Mr. Major Twaha wants to fight. The IGG want to fight. My friend of KRA want to fight. They want to put it in. We go into tribes. We say you have touched our faith. Where is the money for the dams? Where is the dam money? Where is the dam money? It pains a lot. Those younger millions cannot speak. But for us who know, who have studied also business law, international business law, when you tell us there's a bank guarantee, where is the guarantee? Wapi? Wapi now? Mr. Kigan from Erengoyo Marakwet, you are watching this. Tell me if there is drilling taking place in Erengoyo Marakwet, where those boreholes are being drilled. Shame on you. It is sad that structural challenges, structural obstacles are the ones that have caused Kenya, the headlines you see today. Not that Kenya is bad. No. Behind all these headlines, Kenya is the best country, democratically, the best nation that is tolerant to views of each other. Kenya is the best, the beacon of hope, the island of peace. But Kenya suffers structural challenges. You have a PS, 2 PS, 3 PS, all of them run bodyguards. One bodyguard keeping his farm, another one keeping his calico, another one keeping him. All these bodyguards are government bodyguards. They pay salary from the government. 2 cars, 3 cars running, 5 PS, 3 PSs run about 60 people. The salary goes to 60 people. Structural challenges, structural obstacles in Kenya. These are the obstacles that the government, President Uhuru Kenyatta, should look at. Do we need a cabinet of 22? Do we need a cabinet of 22 people? Are they necessary? Do you need a ministry of irrigation when you can have a ministry of agriculture, irrigation, and a fisheries department? Fisheries ministry is combined. Then you get this Cherugutu out. Some of them are doing nothing. They are doing corruption. They are frontmen for the corrupt mafia, Sicily, Big Daddy. Look at them. Do you need all these ministries? No, you don't need them. You need 11 ministers. They can handle all this. One minister can work in all these ministries and have 2 PS who can run his work if he's not in one of the departments. The departments were politically, and I repeat, were politically manufactured by a big daddy Sicily mafia who wanted to eat. The constitution allows you 22, but you can have 10 who are trusted, who do not undermine you. I'm saying wisdom today. Take it, leave it. But God is there. If you don't take these words, we are doomed. We have 36 months to go. The legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta must be seen, must leave a legacy that it has worked. There's no shortcut to that. The expenditure in this country is too high. Let's come to a social contract. Like many African countries, Kenya's social contract has collapsed. It has collapsed in the sense that social workers, community workers, all these people who look after prisoners after they have left prison, all those institutions are collapsed. So, let me tell you how it affects the economy. Churches always come in when a state is about to collapse. Churches, some of the churches in Kenya have become too commercial that you don't want to touch them. You would rather not go to church, but to pray in your bedroom or in your kitchen and ask God, help me. It's the same as going in those churches. You will need a new uniform, a new suit, a new dress, a new hairstyle, a new suit. Look at the suits. When people praying, they don't pray in, they are in suits. One suit costs about 100,000 shillings. Are the churches helping us? No. Things have collapsed. The social contract that we find in China, that China gives us our money. The money we borrow in China has a social contract. Chinese eat one meal. They eat noodles in a day. We in Africa, in Uganda, in Kenya, in Tanzania, in Zimbabwe, we want 5-course meal. You want to eat dessert. You want to begin, some people even begin with dessert instead of appetizer. I've been in a restaurant where a man asks for dessert. Give me ice cream. That's what Africa we have. It's not only in Kenya. Give me ice cream. I want to begin with it to cool the throat. Hallelujah. This is Africa now. The contract that we have in Africa is not the contract we have in China. In China, we have a contract that you don't touch the money. When you are sick, you go, the medicine will be in the hospital. Here, hospitals are as dirty as hell. Look at the hospital in Kirinyaga. Even if you are sick, you are dying, you don't want to go to such a hospital. Look at the hospitals around this country. President Uhuru Kenyatta is saying, let's clean these hospitals. Is it too much for the governor, Waiguru, to pick up some money and get cleaners? Not even hospital cleaners. Cleaners, get a company and pay them. Go and paint this hospital. And yourself, you supervise it. From the budget of the health ministry. Supervise the cleaning and the painting of these hospitals. You don't need the President Uhuru Kenyatta to come and do that. Today, I stand with the MPs. And I know President Kenyatta might not be happy with me. But I'm not standing with them that you should give them the money. I'm going to reason. If you wake up in the morning and go to one of these MPs' home, you find a queue 2 miles longer in the village and you might think there is an election. I want to speak the truth. It is up to you Kenyans to find out what you want to do. But I'm telling you the truth. A friend of mine invited me to his rural home. And there is an MP in one of the places. I won't name them. I slept in one of the hotels in the town of that rural home. So when I woke up after my breakfast, the MP's house was about 3 kilometers away from my home. I drove my car towards his home. At first, I did not believe what was going on. This is a man, we had gone to the club, nightclub. In that rural area, there is a very nice nightclub. For people who want to come to Kenya, don't concentrate in Nairobi alone. Go to other smaller towns. In fact, their life is more comfortable. Everybody was calling me Matanga, Matanga. We see you on TV. The younger generation in the club at night were very happy to see me. Some bought me beer, some bought me whiskey, some bought me, we were very happy that night. So we drove to this Mheshimiwa's home. Viewers, what I saw there will tell you the story I'm telling you. Two kilometers away from his home, towards his gate, I started seeing people walking towards the same road. So I asked my friend I was with, are these people going for, is there a market this side? It was a Saturday morning. He said, no, this road only goes towards Mheshimiwa's house. Then I said, is there a problem at Mheshimiwa's house? Because this is 11 o'clock. We had waited at the hotel thinking the Honorable was coming back to pick us. Then we can see the scenery of this great Kenya. Viewers, the truth, to cut the story short, is by the time I reached the gate of the MP, I found over 300 people outside the gate of the MP. They did not show any sign they want to fight. Some had come with smaller children. This is a sin, and I believe me or not, I'm not siding with the MPs that you give them money, but I'm trying to bring structural obstacles that make this group go to the MP. 300 people in the morning, in your own constituency, in your own house, you are besieged by 300 people. And then you have to serve them. You have to talk to them. This is happening everywhere in Africa. People come to the MP. There's no country in Africa which has put social contract. Why in Africa these things happen is our social contract has collapsed. We had a social contract in those days when we had Legico. Legico, when parliament was started, 1964, when the parliament had credibility, where people could feel, where schools could pay, you could pay your school fees through a post office order card. You buy it and send it to riches. The headmaster says, yes, I have it. The social contract in Africa has collapsed. The MP that morning, my friend MP, you are watching, and you must be laughing and saying, Matanga is about to say the name. I can't say the name of that MP. I got a shock of my life. And when I got out of the car of the MP, I became even more of a problem. Because everybody said, this is the man on TV. Yes. Even people wanted to shake my hands. But you can see a determined people. People with genuine grievances talking about their problems. Their children are not in school. Their children a bill. This, that. That's why we need things like health care, which is very important. Out of the 300, you could quickly sample that most of them were talking about bills. Hospital bill, my wife gave birth, did this, that, my children, the other two are not going to school. So the MP got out of his house. You know what I told him? Mzee, I will leave you, I will go back to see what I can see in this local town. When you sort out your constituents, then you can come. I can't now say you are not coming to see me. Even if you don't come to see me, I can see the problem that you have. Most of these problems the MPs face them. The MPs face them every morning, every Saturday, every night. Some of them, if they have not got you there, I don't know whether Kenyans have gone to parliament of late. You find a group of people standing across parliament. You might think they are waiting for anything. They are waiting to see the MP, their MPs. They have even left the villages and they have come here. You can't blame them. People have problems. People have lots of problems. How do we solve these problems as Africans? The question of Kenya is structural challenges. The structures of Kenya use gazap, they eat, they swallow all the money that could go to help medicines, build bridges, is swallowed in the wage bill. So time has come for Kenya to cut structures. Cut down, make a parliament shorter, smaller, effective. Structures that make the MPs, for example, an MP from Moyale, how will he be in Kenya, in Nairobi, 5 days when he doesn't have allowance to stay in Nairobi? He doesn't have a helicopter to fly back to those places. So this topic must be taken in consideration with lots of things. Asking for too much allowances is not the best way out. You threaten the taxpayer who says you are greedy. But there are genuine cases of some people. We should categorize the MPs who are in Nairobi, who are near the capital, should be categorized and say how many of you, genuinely, how many of you have houses in Nairobi? Let's find out the modus of operandi, to make sure that we don't scatter the debate, we don't become people fighting one group of identification called MPs. They have a problem of asking too much allowances, but they also have points that at home, because of the breakdown on structures, the retirement benefits have not reached the people who are elderly. Amongst the people coming to your house in the morning are people seeking to know why the check has not arrived. Those are structural challenges. Those are obstacles. So don't blame the MPs alone. Let's blame everybody, all of us, from the executive. Why have we left too many PS? Why have we increased the CAS, chief accounting, chief somebody? My production team will tell me what they call them. Why have we left them there? What do they do? What work do they do that the minister cannot do? The minister can control with very limited people a ministry. So these institutions that we have created were politically designed. Time has come for His Excellency to review in a proper manner. Does he need all these ministries to create political expedience and create more chaos? Look at the loose talk. The loose talk when you look at Kinjuri, the Minister of Agriculture. after failing even farmers, after importing maize, after refusing to buy their maize, is busy talking everywhere. And with the English that one does not understand. It's very bad. People are very hurt, Your Excellency. People are hurt. And I'm telling you, people are hurt. People cry tears about all this. Their maize is not bought. Then you have now put, someone has brought maize, and then they say we shall import 1.5 million bags. A merchant has already bought maize and a signal to the minister the type of corruption we have. The money of the dams, Eroro and Kimiroro went. Nobody talks about it anymore. Nobody can proudly come on platform and tell us the banker guarantees are here. Let's go Singapore way. Let's cut these guys. Let the DCI cut them. Don't fear the people. Friendship can come later. But when you touch the money of the government, let's go down. Let someone feel the pinch of having stolen this money. Let somebody feel, return the towels, the cutlery, the spoons, the forks, the bathroom tubs, the bathrooms that people bought as if a dam uses towels. A dam without water cannot use towels because you will not have water there. It's a shame that structural challenges have created the ballooning wage bill that has created a huge expenditure in Africa and in Kenya. Rwanda has got only 7,000 civil servants, and the rest is done by computer. Why can't Kenya change its position on the question of structural challenges and obstacles? There were structural challenges in police. Reforms were done in police. Today the police performs about 60 to 67% to 70%. Is good work because reforms were made. The chain of command was straightened. There is no more problems in security as far as security between NIS and the government and the other institutions are concerned. The reporting is harmoniously done. Therefore, you can be able to catch the terrorists, the bad people in a nutshell. Let's change the structures. Kenya is a great country. Let me take a break and I come back to do the final clip. Viewers of this tape and those who will listen to this tape and my voice, Kenya is a great country. It's a country, an island of peace, an island of freedom, an island of democracy, an island of rule of law that follows the rule of law in all aspects. Kenya is an island of constitutionalism. The Constitution of 2010 ushered in a new era, an era where all issues can be resolved within the Constitution and the framework of the Constitution. The too much of politics that has come in the middle of a term of His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta spoils the broth, destroys the legacy. The legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta cannot hold if campaigns are not tamed. The taming of campaigns of President Uhuru Kenyatta's term of office can bring about harmonious, unifying, and democratic further institutions. You can further institutions of democracy by listening to each other without howling insults, violence, and without playing politics of compensational strategy. Compensational politics always ends up with greed and looting in order to compensate what you lost. The politics of hostage taking, the politics of horse trading does not serve a third world country. Horse trading serves developed nations like America and Britain, where the Labour Party can horse trade, or within the Labour Party you can horse trade in order to get concessions. The wage bill that we see today can be tamed by removing structural challenges. The structures in Kenya have ballooned the wage bill, which results into higher expenditure. It is therefore time for Kenya to look at the structures, to stop structural obstacles, to remove CC today between the MPs and the SRC and the structures that were put there by the Constitution is what the problem is. The structures. Too many of them do the same work, duplicate the same work. Can the government look at these structures, cut them down to save the money that goes into wages? Can the government look again? Can the people that the president entrusted help him to deliver the legacy? We have 36 months left. We need to deliver a legacy, to leave a united, prosperous Kenya. Dreaming about what might happen can be seen from the performance of the legacy. You can win an election if you ride on the same boat, in the same train with President Uhuru Kenyatta to make a legacy. Thank you. Viewers, that is it. I've done my best. I would like to look at so many of you have written today. I've received so many comments. I would like Max Manyiga, hello good people. Danny is watching. Don't die of stress. It is politics like it played in the US. Rono Kibukumba, thanks for saying the truth, Biafra. Wanjiru Wamwangi is watching. Chemutai Yekwenyu umekwishinda. Don't worry about mine. I told you why I'm not interested. I want a peaceful Kenya. Uganda will be peaceful. Rosie Waithera watching. Dainton, we cannot stop speaking. Go ahead, but speak nicely. Dainton Muluki. Wilfred Wawero Yagon. All the present men are not helping men. Matanga, what's up? And go, yes, Mr. Matanga, with all praises of Jubilee, then what has changed? I have praised Jubilee because I see the problem. If all you Africans did not fight for Biafra to go, it means you all are animals. If Biafra is not free, Africa will never be free. That's why we are helping you. Okara is watching. Nwanko Kibike amens. And Karani is watching. Arab. And Mr. Arateisek Eski is asking why I'm quiet of harassment of Bob Wine, because Bob Wine was told what to do and he doesn't do it. So I have given my advice. If he continues to do what he wants to do, he will meet what he wants to meet. King Man, King Jim Tai. Judy Matthew says, you live long. If I have not read your comment, it means your comment is useless and your brain needs to change. Have a better brain, organize it, then come to write. If you have not heard me read the comment, it means there is something wrong with the brain. Because when you come in public, write things that, but we thank you for watching and you increase the numbers. Thank you very much. And that's how I talk, and I will continue talking that way. I'm not bothered. Paulo Kagi, this land of Africa needs more courageous leaders who have love and heart of Africa and the continent. Martin Mwangi watching. Mariam Hope, Africa is home for all of us. No division. Thank you very much. Grace Tusimwe from Uganda. Thank you very much. Okay, Hope. Good morning from here. I don't know from where. Joseph Omari said, let them hear. I hope they have heard. Robert Kemboy, I think you're asking a question. I found people meeting the MP. I am trying to say in my message that the MP paid a lot. So MPs actually end up with no money. Because if you see the problems at the MP's house, you can pity the MP quite a lot. Pombe Magufuli, you are watching. Timothy Njora, you are watching. Raymond Matata says, when you apply for a job, you don't ask them to give you a house, or they pay you a house allowance for you to keep the job. It is your responsibility to know how to live in Nairobi. That is to the MPs. The Mpasani Yoshua, all we are seeking is for Biafra. Andrew Teddy talk about harassment of the deputy president. That is not a subject for me. It's a subject for the police. If he is being harassed, he can report to the police and the police will help. And if they know the police have picked anything to protect a state officer, they will do it. And I believe the Kenyan police that are guarding the deputy president know that there is always a threat against the leaders of this country. Therefore, they will look after that and get the truth at the bottom of it. Thank you very much, viewers. Thank you very much. It's 52 minutes. I've finished in time. Believe me or not, that is my stand. Believe me or not, it might be a stand of very many people that are here. God bless you. God bless Kenya. This is only a discussion. That was my opinion. Thank you very much. See you again tomorrow.